Yes.
Darrell, will you lead us?
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. Those present: Darrell Baker, County Clerk; Charles Vance, President; Phoebe Harless, Commissioner; K.K. Matthews, Commissioner. I need a motion to approve the minutes of the regular session of the Lincoln County Commission meeting that was held on March 1st, 2018 at 6 o'clock.
Also moved.
And please say aye.
Aye.
Next, I need a motion to approve the minutes of the special session of the Lincoln County Commission meeting that was held on March 23rd, 2018 at 9 o'clock.
I'll move.
Also, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, on public comment, we have Josh Stowers, Rich Creek, Rock Creek, and EDA.
Sir.
You write about as good as me.
Yeah. Was in a hurry, right? Yeah, well, thanks, Commission, for our opportunity to speak real quick on Rock Creek development project. I just want to give an update. Myself, Executive Director of EDA, another board member, Rick Ryan, and Gary McAllister, met with Commerce Secretary Woody Thrasher last week regarding the project, and yeah, it was pretty clear that they were not that the focus and the idea of what the project would be was clearly different than what had been sold under the previous administration. I mean, they made that very clear, and that was the reason behind selling all the bonds back early. They wanted to keep the bonding capacity high for other projects, so you know he went into detail about some of the reasoning as to why. I don't think that we could. I think we agreed to disagree. That you know, he went into a lot of the engineering aspects of it, claimed that you know a lot of the backstack that was there would consolidate over time, and it wouldn't be a good place for certain development. And again, I think we agreed to disagree that was that it would be a viable project. But with that said, you know that's the bad news. I think there's been some good news to some degree. I think that we by going and not letting this go away, we're keeping a dialogue open. We have some meetings set up with them and General Hoyer with GARD, with the UH and the Development Office to just continue to be loud, continue to be squeaky about this project and not let it go, particularly the Lincoln County side. I mean, primarily the Lincoln County side of HOVED is where the GARD's going to go, and the unfortunate piece of that is that is now tax exempt. We're going to lose tax dollars because the GARD has been given that property. I spoke to the assessor a couple weeks back. You know, we're looking at probably $75,000, maybe $100,000, depending on how much property they actually take. You know, for a county like Lincoln County, that's a big deal. And so we gotta open up dialogue. If the GARD's going to be there, they're going to be the ones driving that property. Then we need to open up a dialogue and keep that there with them, and potentially get some kind of development or advantage. But we got to keep those lines of communication open. So that's what we're hoping to do with that. I'm sure some of you have seen the reports, and I want to be cautiously optimistic about the Green Line Energy from Mingo County out of Red Jacket. There's been some pretty significant reporting on that in the last couple of days, saying that they're going to locate a facility out at Rock Creek. Now, granted, it's on the Boone County side that they're projected to develop, but it's got some potential. They've got to do a year feasibility study out there. With the GARD, they basically want to provide renewable energy. They want to provide all the electricity and all the energy to the GARD through a renewable source. They've got the technology and engineering, they say, to do that. That's been a small piece. A lot of people are pretty optimistic about it, that it could long-term provide some jobs and you know, start some type of synergy up there with the renewable side. But that's, again, cautiously optimistic about it. It's going to be a while until that comes to fruition, but that's kind of where we are with it. I just hope, again, that the commission and the county and the EDA, don't let this go, because it really is, it has potential if the focus stays there. So that was the update from last week. I know, like I said, Rick was there, so he could probably elaborate more on it than I could. That's that.
Thank you, Josh. Anybody else want to comment on that? Okay. We'll go ahead and move on to discussion concern possible action. A Region 2 drawdown request.
Sorry.
That's all right.
I'm back. Okay, well, I have another drawdown request for the Community Development Block Grant for the Lower Mud River project. That's very active right now in the construction phase. The request I have is drawdown request number 8 in the amount of $204,498.19. Invoices that are included in this is one invoice from Shenaki Construction, and the total invoice for that is $405,323.64. A portion of this invoice, $202,857.13, will be paid by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, and that will basically wipe out their piece in this particular project. So the remaining balance of $202,466.51 will be paid by the Community Development Block Grant funds. So that's one piece of this particular drawdown. The other pieces of the drawdown include 2 invoices from Ron Flora, the attorney for the project, in the amount of $1,382.50, and 1 invoice from Region 2 Planning and Development Council in the amount of $649.18. So I have the drawdown here for your signatures.
So do I have a motion from the commission to approve the drawdown request, give us permission to sign?
So moved. I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye. There you go.
And from the Region 2 side too, I do have an update on the floodplain, the flood hazard mitigation plan for Region 2. That has been submitted. I know that Rick Helton from here was very, very helpful in getting lots of feedback from the community with regard to any concerns with any hazards and whatnot. And from a regional standpoint, once we have submitted the report, has been very well received. Actually, they're very impressed with the input. And of course, you know, there were always concerns through all 6 counties with regard to, you know, flooding and other natural disasters. But another thing that came into play also was the opioid crisis as a hazard, which is not something we would normally put in a hazard mitigation plan, but that came through again and again and again. And what this plan will do overall will make all the counties in the regions, you know, in case there is, heaven forbid, a crisis, eligible for funding in a faster capacity, as well as eligible for funding to help mitigate those disasters. So we're very pleased. And I do have here, and it came in, the FEMA is requiring that all of our membership, you know, sign their support for the hazard mitigation plan. And I do have a piece here too with regard to that, should you want to review it and approve that as well.
Well, we would have to, I mean, we can review it, but we'd have to put it on the agenda to approve it.
It was worth a shot. It kind of came in between the times, so you know, I always would try.
Right.
But that's fine. I mean, would it be a benefit for me to leave it now and for your agenda next time, or just bring it back? As I'm sure I'll be back next month for a drop,
You just
considering
wanna-
work.
Yeah, we need to
Just-
clarify.
I will do that, but hey, at least I gave you the update, so it was very positive, and we do appreciate all the assistance that we received within the county. So thank you very much for your time.
Will you email that, if you'll email that out to me
Okay,
and a separate email with the drawdowns, then I can get it to them.
fantastic, I will do that. All right, thank you so much.
Help the fire. Okay, update on the roof, the courthouse roof.
The ceiling architect group that helped us with the roof to start with called today and is going to help get a hold of the roofing company, check on the warranty, because he thinks that the warranty should cover where it's leaking as well. Even though they told me it would only cover the flat part of the roof. So he asked if it was, where it was leaking. I told him several places, and so he said he'd get back with me and see if he could help us get it fixed.
Was he gonna come out and look at it?
I don't know if that one in particular, there's another one he said might come out. and
When
look.
does the warranty expire? You know?
No, we haven't-
Well, I just didn't want him to keep putting it off till it
Okay,
expired.
no, I can check that, but no, I don't know.
Okay, but cause I went up and looked in the prosecutor's office up there and back in the back there, and, it's, anytime you get water in on things, you continue to get water in, you're losing a lot of that, that's gonna have to be taken care of.
Mhm.
And we need to get it settled once for all, because it's gonna continue to rain.
Mhm.
So we've got to address it, so, and when they come down to look at it, I need to know.
Okay.
So I can
Mhm.
maybe talk to them about it.
Mhm.
All right, we have no unfinished business. I'll go to new business, you can talk, if you can look at the new business, if there's any questions or changes or comments. If not, I'll ask for a motion to approve the new business as presented. So moved. Second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Thank you. Okay. An open discussion. Commissioner Matthews, you have anything?
I think you all received the email from Alan Holder about T-Mobile starting to locate all our sites, and that'll be happening in April. So at the end of April, you should start seeing some activity on towers. That's all.
Commissioner Harris? The only thing I just want to mention is that as we were going through our budget and trying to figure out what to do to make sure we can make it to next year, there was a lot of things that we looked at before we decided on how to do the budget. And, we looked at the possibility of having to, one of the things was to look at our insurance that we have for the employees and possibly have them pay part of that, but including we pay $177 per policy or whatever per month. But we kind of agreed that, it's not right to be cutting back staff and making people work harder and then wind up cutting their pay $40 a week, because that's basically what it would add up to, $44 a week. I asked them to make that payment themselves. But that may be something that would have to be looked at the next fiscal year as we go through our budget and things of that nature and look at our numbers. But I just bring that up to let the public know that, we are doing absolutely everything we can to save dollars where we can save it. We're trying to, these people that work here in the courthouse are working harder for their money, the same money as they got before. So we didn't give anyone any raise. We didn't, and we did have to cut back personnel. We no longer, we have a new building permit person, and Mary's taking over that job from Mr. Helton. And we saved that money, so the commission did. Although I'm not sure she won't have to be paid a little more once she gets through it, but that's, and there's other things we're looking at that, and I know there, anytime you cut back personnel or cut back services, you're gonna have feedback that's not positive. I mean, and we realize that, we fully realize that, but, we do the best we can with what we have and try to make everyone, I don't know we can make them happy doing those things, but I want them to be able to work in a place that they like to work at and try to do the work of the people and get the people's job done. But it's a terrible thing to try to go, even at your home when you try to work out your budget and, all of a sudden, you don't have that $750,000 million cold severance you used to work with. And then it's really hard for people to understand how you could give so many things away before and not now. But we do everything we can to be as fair as we can, to work with what we have to work with. And and we still wish we could do more for the people. So, but I just wanted the public to know that we looked at this very long and very hard. It's a lot easier to look at when you've got a bunch of extra money. You can fund about anything that you feel really is necessary. But what we try to do is fund those things that we feel is absolutely necessary, and try to ask the people that work here to do more. And I know in talking with our employees, the public's always right, but they're not always nice about it. And I've asked them to try to try to accept what they're going through too as what we're going through. So, but we do feel a very strong obligation to the people of this county, and to make sure that we provide the safest and best place for them to grow up and live and work and raise their families. So and I just wanted to make that comment, and I appreciate the work of the other two commissioners and Mary in doing this. And, it's like I said, it's a tough job. It's a lot tougher than when I came on 18 years ago. Not only is it more complicated, we have to do so much more with so much less. So, but I do appreciate the community, what the community centers are trying to do, and trying to gather funding for things and help us, help you all, and things of that nature. And you know, any of these things we look at though as a challenge, there can always be rewards at the end. And I think that those of us that were brought up having to work for everything we got realize that. You know, we have to work harder and to get less. But we appreciate the help that Rick and Ronald does, and I almost called you Commissioner Stowers, but it's something that we need as individuals that help us do our job. And we really appreciate what you guys do, and we appreciate what the EDA does and Mr. Stutler does. And often, you know, I don't think we say it enough how much we appreciate that. But we do appreciate the job you all do, and we appreciate the citizens of this county for helping us get to where we need to be.
I have the regular meeting left, but we have to later one, April 17th.
Okay, so that's the first one we'll do that. So, if there's nothing else, I ask for a motion to adjourn till,
April 17th at 9:30 a.m. So you be there 9:30?
and that's for the sole purpose of laying the levy. Our next commission meeting will be,
May the 3rd at 6 p.m.
so I ask for a motion to adjourn till Sunday.
So moved.
Second.
Motion say aye. We stand adjourned. Thank you all.